Ms. Spear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both for your testimony and your service. Colonel Vindman, wasn't it the case that Mr. Eisenberg, the attorney, had said to you after the July 5th meeting that you should come to him if you have any other concerns?
After the July 10th meeting, yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And it is not going outside the chain of command to speak to the lawyer within the institution, is that correct?
No, he is the senior between the two, certainly.
All right. Our colleagues on the other side of the aisle have been complaining about other witnesses having only secondhand information. But in both your cases, you have firsthand information because you were on the July 25th phone call. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Now, Colonel, you in your comments today said, I want to state that the vile character attacks on these distinguished and honorable public servants is reprehensible. Would you like to expand on that at all?
Ma'am, I think they stand on their own. I don't think it's necessary to expand on it.
So in both your situations, since you have given depositions, since those depositions have been made public, have you seen your experience in your respective jobs changed, or have you been treated any differently?
I have not, no.
Since the report on the July 25th, as I stated, I did notice I was being excluded from several meetings that would have been appropriate for my position. So in some respects, then, there have been reprisals. I'm not sure if I could make that judgment. I could say that it was out of the course of normal affairs to not have me participate in some of these events.
Thank you. In preparation for the July 25th phone call, it's standard for the National Security Council to provide talking points. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because the words of the president carry incredible weight. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
So it's important to ensure that everyone has carefully considered the implications of what the president might say to a foreign leader.
That is correct.
Colonel Vindman, you are the National Security Council's director for Ukraine. Did you participate in preparing the talking points for the president's call?
I did. I prepared them.
So you prepared them. They were then reviewed and edited by multiple senior officers at the NSC and the White House. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did the talking points for the president contain any discussion of investigations into the 2016 election, the Bidens, or Burisma?
They did not.
Are you aware of any written product from the National Security Council suggesting that investigations into the 2016 election, the Bidens, or Burisma are part of the official policy of the United States?
No, I'm not.
Some of President Trump's allies have suggested that the president requested these investigations for official policy reasons as part of some plan to root out corruption in Ukraine. In your experience, did the official policies of the United States include asking Ukraine to specifically open investigations into the Bidens and interference by Ukraine in the 2016 election?
Nothing that we prepared or had discussed up until that point included any of these elements.
Would it ever be U.S. policy, in your experience, to ask a foreign leader to open a political investigation?
There are proper procedures in which to do that. Certainly the president is well within his right to do that. It is not something the NSC, certainly a director at the NSC, would do. As a matter of fact, we are prohibited from being involved in any transaction between Department of Justice and a foreign power to ensure that there is no perception of manipulation from the White House. So it is not something that we participate in.
Ms. Williams, in your experience, did the official policies of the United States include asking Ukraine to open investigations into the Bidens?
I had not seen any reference to those particular cases in our policy formulation process.
All right, let me just say to you, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, that in listening to your opening statement, I had chills up and down my spine. And I think most Americans recognize what an extraordinary hero you are to our country. And I would say to your father, he did well. I yield back.